I'd like there to be quite a lot of headings so I know exactly what I'm getting when I buy a magazine. I also think it needs to be quite bright colours, because colours like yellow to make the whole poster seem quite bright and to make the association with brightness and students being bright and reaching for their goals and stuff like that.
When looking at school magazine covers, you usually expect to see things like dull colours because it's associated with school, which has got a lot of stressful topics around it, but you'd probably want to see more bright colours like whites and things like that instead of the generic like beiges and things.
Obviously the genre has quite a lot of intenseness and quite dark, so I'd like to see not very bright colours and quite dark, and make sure that the model hasn't got a smiley face and that all the conventions are there in the facial expression and the body language to make the indie rock magazine seem.
I think the model should be portrayed as, because indie is quite an alternative music genre, maybe they're not very happy, they have a more sad expression on their face, and the colours that they're wearing may be a bit darker.
Maybe just quite generic questions about their music, so what got them into the music industry, what journey that they have had to get there, because I think that there's so many questions you can ask about music, maybe about their personal life as well, and if the reason that they've got into the music is because of a past experience and stuff like that.
I think an indie rock artist would be asked things like how did they get to the point they are, what they're trying to say through their music, also if they've achieved the goal that they were going for, if they have further that they want to go in their career.
Thank you. Well, I think that the indie rock genre is filled with emotions because it's very much dependent on the lyrics that they use, so maybe darkness, sad, yeah.
I think because indie rock is quite alternative and they kind of focus on things like sadness, loss of happiness, things that just aren't particularly happy.
I'd like there to be quite a bold masthead and also something quite catchy and original, because I don't want to buy something that's the same as everything else on the shelf. I want it to be quite unique and something that's very specific to the genre, so I know that if I'm accidentally buying a pop magazine that I'm not getting it confused with the genres, and it needs to be very specific to the conventions of the indie rock genre.
I think the quotes that they use on the front are really important because you want to know exactly what you're getting when you open the magazine. Also the colours they use, the images, and the masthead I think is really important as well. So when you're looking at all the magazines, you'll choose that one because it has bright colours or like a big masthead.